Hello, 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 hello. Well, missed you so much. Welcome to the 10 Things channel. Yeah, today we are continuing with our relationship series, and I have a great topic for us to discuss. Please share, invite people, tell them the 10 Things channel is here. Today we are talking about 10 shocking things they don't tell you before you marry. 10, 10, not 2, 10. 10 shocking things they don't tell you. First one's quite interesting. Your spouse will die when you least expect it. Indeed, the statistics say, and people have even had the um, time to even make fun of it, that usually the men die before the women, due to age, due to wars, and other factors. But when your spouse will die, is something you least expect. In fact, there have been occasions where people have died just a day after their wedding. In fact, there have been occasions where people even died before the wedding, and the occasions where people have lived over 100 years after the wedding. I mean, not after the wedding, over 70, 80 years after the wedding. But there are also occasions where people have died just a week after wedding. In fact, the shocking thing is that your spouse will leave you when you least expect it, which means whatever good you can do to him, you can do to her, do it now, because your spouse will leave you when you least expect it. That's the number one shocking thing about marriage they don't tell you. The number two shocking thing about marriage they don't tell you is that when there's a quarrel, when your spouse wrongs you, he or she is more willing to forgive you than the relatives who were told of the story. In fact, there are many instances where spouses have forgiven each other, and so the relatives of the couple are fighting over the issue they have resolved. Your relatives are less forgiving than you when it comes to issues concerning your marriage. That's the number two shocking thing you'll find when you get married. The relative that used to be so supportive of your husband, of your wife, once you get married, they'll be less forgiving when they misbehave than you will even forgive them. So be careful how you pass information of wrongs or offenses to your family. They will just build it up as a dossier and will not have the love that you have for your spouse to forgive him or to forgive her. So be careful what information you share with your family concerning wrongs. Once you can solve it amicably and it does not end up there, don't go and say it to them. Whether it's after the fact, just talk to and say it, please. So that's the second thing. Your family will be less forgiving of your spouse than you will be. And then the third shocking thing you find out about marriage is that it takes a lot of hard work to stay attractive to your partner. You know, the food here, you put on weight, a little here, you don't smell right. I mean, because of your words, they cloud your appearance. It takes a lot of hard work to remain attractive to your partner. And this many people forget, this many people take for granted once they get married, that the things that make us less attractive in marriage are far more than the things that make us attractive. There need therefore to be a conscious effort to stay or be attractive during marriage. That's another shocking thing. When you were courting, you couldn't get off each other. Anytime you saw each other, you were attractive and you were just, literally praying to God to give you the resistance to not to pounce on each other. And once you get married, realize the reasons why you don't want your spouse to even touch you are far more than the ones that makes you want to touch or to be touched by your spouse. So that is the third reason, third shocking reason you get to know after marriage. Now, um, one thing is that the fourth one is that fourth shocking thing you find out when you get married is that nobody tells you before you get married is that you, if you follow your instincts, it's very difficult to please your spouse by following your instincts. In fact, most of the things that your instinct will tell you to do are contrary to what your spouse wants. Your instincts will lead to premature ejaculation. Your instincts will lead to wanting things now. Your instincts will lead to sleeping without bathing. Your all the things that you are naturally, instinctively will do are things that will affect your spouse. Your instinct at the man is just to pounce on your wife and not to allow her to come into the mood for you to have relations. Your instinct to do it the way you want it, how quick you want it, where you want it, when you want it. Every time you follow your instinct instead of a logical, rational decision, you are more often than not to do something that will offend your partner. So your instinct, that instinct you thought led you to your wife, that made you pursue her and the rest. If you follow that same instinct, you will not pursue her. You will always be quarreling because that animalistic tendency will not suffice in marriage. You need to approach it with maturity. So that's the fourth thing. Now, this one is shocking. The fifth one actually. I hope that I get the number. I've gotten the numbers correct. But the fifth shocking thing that they never tell you before you get married is that you will never, and I repeat, you will never ever know your spouse, no matter how long you date, the way you get to know her when she is Mrs. or she is Mr. You. In fact, it doesn't matter whether you stayed together before marriage. It doesn't matter whether you were sexually intimate before marriage. It doesn't matter. So long as there is no legal thing binding you, so long as there's no check thing which says that there's no divorce binding you, your partner will not be relaxed enough to be able to show his or her full character. Nobody will know a spouse better than before they got married. You always get to know them better after the marriage. There's no way you can know a man or woman better than during marriage. So don't concentrate all your attention on knowing the person. Don't think sexual intimacy, uh, jumping to go and stay with him, or jumping to go and stay with her, moving in will let you know each other. No. So long as that unresolved issue of the person, especially the woman, not being your missus, she will not be in a mood to show you her real character. So that was the five. Um, Now, the sixth one, and this one, it shocks us, especially those of us who were so much into wanting our marriage to be perfect, studied so much, learned so much. But one thing you find about marriage is that the Mrs., the Mister that wrote the book is not the same as your husband or the same as your wife. No matter the principles, there may be principles that generally work, but your wife will make everything different from you. No matter what you have learned, if your spouse does not cooperate, your knowledge will just crumble. And most of the time in marriage, if your spouse does not help, because most of the time marriage you respond, the two of you create the environment which you are. The toxic environment created by your spouse will lead you to a place where you forget everything you've learned. So a mental knowledge, and this is the sex thing, the number six thing, that shocking thing they don't tell you before you marry, is that the mental knowledge about marriage is not enough to make you the best of spouses. You may have mental knowledge, but it is not enough. It is only when you have learned to live with this particular person in this particular marriage, which has never happened in the universe before, but it's now happening, that you see your peculiarities, that you see your challenges, that you'll be able to really overcome them. Marriage only becomes better after things have been overcome. There's no marriage where it starts perfect because you are imperfect people who don't know so much about each other. There needs to be all kinds of adjustments. There need to be all kinds of adjustments. So you will never ever um, have a mental knowledge that makes you the best of a wife or husband, unless your spouse allows you, helps you. And then the seventh shocking reason they don't tell before you marry is that there are things about your husband or wife you can never change. You see, somebody said, I pray and I tell the Lord to to let me change the things I can, and to let me let go the things I cannot, and to give me the wisdom to know the difference. In fact, one of the greatest difficulties in marriage is when spouses insist on changing things they cannot, and rather decide to do nothing about things they can change. And most of the time, our instinct is to change the things we cannot change. That core part of the person that the person believes is what makes him or makes her. You can't change that one, no matter how much you try. It just won't change. But when we come to understand that there are things you can change, how you talk to each other, how you relate to each other, you know, how you present yourself to each other, how you communicate your love language, the things that makes you happy, the things that excite you, the things that are great, you know. And these things are the ones that can obviously shape crop yourself each other as you submit to each other. That the two fundamental approaches to marriage, and they already established, they are fundamental. Submission, love. So long as these things are at play, there's nothing that can be learnt. There's nothing that cannot be undone. There's nothing that cannot be shaped. So that is the seventh thing, shocking thing to enter about marriage. You, my dear, will not be able to change certain nasty things about your husband, about your wife, no matter how long you try, no matter how long you try, and the trust you issue from that trial. God bless you. Number eight, no matter your experience in relationships, your current husband or wife is unique. Don't go telling your wife how many girlfriends you've had, and don't go, thinking, because normally the women are shy of doing this. But don't go talking about how Dave was, and how, in fact, that's the beginning of the end of your marriage, especially for a woman, when you start telling your husband that other men who didn't have the courtesy to marry you did certain things better than they did. It's when it gets into a bedroom department, then that one is even a disaster. And no self-respecting wife would do that. But some do, some hint. Some will hint that, oh, so and so's my friend's boyfriend, that's not how they were treating. I mean, or that the boyfriends when we were in university, that's not how they were treating women. Those subtle comparisons, or that somebody was, or statements like, I'm imagining if I had married Richard, whether he would have done the same. All of those things are subtle ones. But for men, you like to say it. I don't think Linda would have done that. When I was with Grace, no matter the experience you gathered, if you were the greatest womanizer on earth, it does not give you experience for marriage, because marriage is not womanizing. Marriage is everything opposite to womanizing. You know, the same way with women, marriage is not dominating a man, because what you're going to use to dominate the man, that man has seen it maybe 1,000 times already. So that power to dominate him with it no longer exists. In the first place, the man has seen so much of your imperfections that your perfections will be diminished before him. That's another thing about marriage. No matter, no matter how perfect you are in your sight, once you marry, your imperfections will become clear even to yourself as your spouse complains and complains. So no matter the experience you've had in marriage, your spouse is unique, and never ever think that your experience for others can apply to them. So that was the eighth one. Now the ninth one is that your spouses, and this is shocking. This is one of the most shocking things about marriage that people don't cannot believe. Your spouse's bad attitude can affect your good attitude. In fact, your spouse can influence you to lose your moral virtues. Your spouse's moral attitude can so influence you that you let go of your good attributes, and you also become just as bad as he is, or just as bad as she is. And many people, marriage changes them, albeit or unfortunately for the worse. Because somehow you move to this level of, well, if this is how you want to play the game, then it takes two to tango. But that only spirals into worse things, and you keep inspiring each other onto evil instead of goodness. So that's another great, 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 great shock that you have in the marriage, that you will do the worst of things just because of the things your spouse does. If you do not check yourself, you find yourself I mean, inventing evil that you never thought you're even capable of. So that was the ninth one. Now, in the tenth one, this one is every spark. So tell you this: there's always a tendency. There's always a tendency for your spouse to overlook the wrong of other spouses, and only mention the good things about them. But can't you see the way Dave treats his wife? Can't you see the way Amma treats her husband? You know, there's always this conscious effort to use another married man, another married woman, to sort of beat your spouse, whip your spouse into submission or into line. And most of the time, we try as much as possible to overlook the obvious wrongs in that relationship and only highlight the good. Why? Because in marriage, most people go to marriage to have their way instead of having our way. Now, so long as marriage, the attitude for the couple is that we are living our way for our individual ways for a collective way. Nothing cannot be surmounted. So these are my 20 shocking things they will never tell you until you marry. God bless you for listening and do well to subscribe. You see the things you've learned when you came here. Invite others, share this video. I mean, if you have other lists, you can just on the comment section just list them and then we'll take it from there. Your input could save somebody's life. God bless you and the peace of Jehovah remain with you. Amen. Bless you so much. God bless you. Bless you.